in the world. And I think Lena is very smart because you know how she gave him ideas for his business, but she doesn't know what to do with her smartness. So she's like, this is a man that knows what he wants. Maybe I could, I don't know, maybe.
And she said, there's a part where she says, but I remember those were still my ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also talked about in a marriage, should you have your own financial assets or one big asset? And we talked about how, well, me and Jasmine and a few others said that if you're in a marriage, you should share one financial asset because you're going to have kids, you're going to have to drop the kids off to after schools that you might have to pay for or other stuff that people in marriage pay for. So you can't separate those things because it's going to get too complicated. And marriage is about unity and working as a team, working together, and you have to build trust. So if you have one account, you guys trust each other. But if one is spending more than the other, you guys should talk about that. Nicole.
Thank you, Archie. I have like 2 comments. It's like whatever. Okay, no. One of the questions I asked my table was like, do you think that Harold do you think Lena ended up with Harold because he overlooked her self-esteem issues and like he was like more focused on like finance? And I feel like she kind of went to Harold for a reason as to like he didn't look at her like self-esteem. Like he didn't really focus on that. Like he like just only focused on finance. Okay, that's my first comment. My second comment is how they both work in the same business and he's her boss. I feel like in marriages, it's okay to work in the same place, but if one of them is like your boss, I think that's a problem where like one of you have to leave the job because then you're spending so much time. You're literally spending 24/7 with that person. Like you have no time to be separate from him for like 8 hours a day. So like, and also like he's making 7 times more money than her, and he obviously knows that because he's signing her check. So it's like that's a whole nother problem in marriages that I feel like when you're with someone, you shouldn't work. Well, you can work in the same place, but if someone's like your boss, I feel like this just isn't work.
To talk about Nicole's thing, I honestly think that why Lena doesn't leave her husband is because she's become so dependent on him that it's kind of hard to leave now.
Yeah.
Because like she's working with him. So it's kind of like if she leaves him, she's probably not going to have a job. She's not going to, and her mother, like, she probably might go with her mother, but it's kind of like she's already so dependent on this one person, it's hard to leave. It's like, now he's not a want anymore, like, he's a need. She needs him in her life. And to switch it, because I'm tired of talking about marriage, can we please talk about, really quick, yeah, I can talk about marriage, but I'm just talking about, my table and I discussed that, do you think that what happened like with Arnold and like all the stuff that's been happening in Lena's life because of her mother's superstition is do you believe it's a coincidence or do you think it's like actual superstition?
So yesterday I like the nation. She's talking about the story from the beginning how maybe their kids inherit like superstitions and cultures, and that's like my first point. I said she begins to wonder why all these things begin to happen, like after she stops eating her rice and stuff. I say that she got it from her mom. Like in the beginning, she starts talking about how superstitious and stuff her mom was. I feel like she got so superstitious to the point where she actually believed it herself, that she's the one that caused all of this to happen.
So you don't think it's superstition? You think it was just coincidence?
I think it was coincidence. That she just connected it with all this turmoil she had in her life. She just connected one with the other to make it easier for her to understand.
I think it's just like something you start believing. It's no longer superstition. It's something that, like, let's say when you baby a kid, they get so like used to being baby that it's not babying them. It's just like a habit. Like if you try to like scream at the kid, they'll start crying, which is the same thing Ying Ying did to Lena. Like she kept on telling her like, oh, if you like step on a crack, you're gonna die. She kept on believing it, that it became something for her daily life.
I think something that I think is very common in this book, the mothers, what they went through when they were younger, they're putting it on their kids. And you know, before we started the book, Ms. Khan asked us, do you think it's wrong for a parent to live through their kid? I think that they're living, lots of them are messing up their kids. Do you get what I mean? Like, your parents can honestly F you up sometimes. Like, my mother being so superstitious, it was hard for her to even eat. Like, eating is so good. It was hard for her to even eat. And then remember when the mother was, every time she would win a chess game, my mother would be like, this is my daughter, this is my daughter. Oh, did you hear about my daughter? And then she just got so annoyed with her mother, like, stop living off of me.
Like she was taking her fame.
Yeah, so I just think that's something that I realized in this book. Lots of the mothers are ducking up their kids.